New Zeekr X audit. It's not your typical little electric SUV, but rather that could be a strength as the Zeekr X takes on the laid-out premium players. What is a Zeekr? This is unavoidably going to be the underlying response for bunches of UK drivers on first colleague with a Zeekr X. However, they truly do well to get accustomed to that feeling of disarray and newness. On one hand, Zeekr is only one of a plenty of generally secret Chinese brands that will send off in the UK before very long, continuing following BYD and Aura. On the other, the Zeekr X isn't your standard European market little premium SUV. A long way from it. Zeekr, then, is a worldwide extravagance electric versatility brand possessed by Geely, the Chinese combination that likewise claims more natural names like Lotus, Volvo, Polestar, and Shrewd. The Zeekr X is being pitched as a minimal electric extravagance vehicle, and it utilizes Geely's Ocean, manageable experience design, stage, one that is shared by the savvy number 1 and number 3, as well as the Volvo EX30. This brings up a few clear issues about the situating of the X corresponding to its likewise estimated, and apparently similarly, as premium stablemates. Incredibly, Zeekr was just established as of late as 2021. Today it as of now has 3 models marked down. 2 in Europe, the enormous Zeekr 001 shooting brake hatchback, and this Zeekr X little SUV. Both are probably going to raise a ruckus around town market in the following a few years. The Zeekr X is 4,432 mm long, 162 mm longer than a Shrewd number 1, regardless of having a similar wheelbase. Everything amounts to generally excellent degrees of traveler space for such a minimal model, with space inside for 4 enormous grown-ups to serenely sit. There's a 362-liter boot out back, which is up on the Shrewd's 288 liters yet down on the stunningly stuffed well-disposed Peugeot E2008's 434-liter limit. In the event that you consider the Zeekr X sitting between super mini-sized SUV models like the Peugeot and Brilliant, and bigger average-size SUVs like the Mercedes EQA and impending savvy number 3 as far as size, you will not be far away. The Zeekr X comes in back tire drive, single-engine structure, or with double engines and 4-wheel drive. Indeed, even the previous has a 272 brake horsepower result with 343 Nm of force. It's enough briefly 0 to 62 miles per hour impact, which would have been fearsomely speedy in a little SUV a couple of years prior. Nowadays, we're adjusted to that sort of speed from somewhat common EV models, yet the 422 brake horsepower and 543 Nm of the double-engine Zeekr X is immense, even by current guidelines. It implies this little family vehicle will cover the 0 to 62 miles per hour addition in 3.8 seconds quicker than a Porsche 911 Carrera 4. It's a powertrain we've seen before in the brilliant number 1 Brabus, yet we actually haven't exactly dealt with it. The 2 adaptations of the Zeekr X have a similar 69 kWh battery mounted under the floor, and the Authority WLTP ranges come in at 277 miles for the single-engine vehicle and 264 miles for the double-engine model. These are serious on paper goes in a market where the Peugeot E2008 oversees 250 miles, and the Kia Niro EV can complete 285 miles. Yet, you will not draw near to those numbers on the off chance that you consistently utilize all the presentation. On our test drive of the double-engine form, we arrived at the midpoint of 2.9 miles per kilowatt-hour effectiveness against the 3.6 miles per kilowatt-hour WLTP official number. As far as charging, there's a 22 kilowatts installed AC charger and a 150 kilowatts DC quick charging limit that will hypothetically let you squeeze up the Zeekr X from void to 80% in a short time. While you are charging, there's a roundabout computerized show that flames up inside the vehicle's outer B point of support board, so you can without much of a stretch mind the charging status initially. That is a long way from the main novel element incorporated into the vehicle, as well. Zeekr has gone for a seriously strong styling treatment with the X. There's a sprinkle of BMW i3 about the C-support point region, and the sharp wrinkle lines sticking downwards from that point to the foundation of the front wheel arch is surely unmistakable, similar to the headlights. The inside is a lot of the moderate button desert we've generally expected from present-day EVs, with the controls for environment, route, well-being frameworks, diversion, and all the more undeniably incorporated into the 14.6-inch touchscreen. Plan and quality inside is generally a valuable bellwether for a brand's top-notch earnings, and Zeekr's work holds up well here. There are a few lower-quality plastics on the mid-control area and around the window turns on the entryways. While the veggie lover cowhide isn't the most material of trim decision for a guiding wheel, however, by and large the X Lodge is alluring and appears to be determinately assembled generally. There are wide entryway pockets and some more extra room in the mid-control area, yet not much of other limit with respect to your messiness, so you might wind up putting things on the wide, level floor region. You will not get much past a thick soft cover in the front, which is among the littlest we've seen. The remote telephone charging space in the middle armrest is a strange move, just like the implicit shades holder up on the door jamb where a driver's kit handle could normally be. That isn't anything, notwithstanding, contrasted, and a portion of the stuff hiding in the menus of the Zeekr X infotainment framework. The vehicle has a pet mode. Draw in it, and you can leave your canine, feline, or anything that in the locked vehicle with the environment control set to the ideal temperature to keep the creature cheerful. A pet mode image enlightens on the outer B point of support show, and on the primary screen the ongoing temperature is displayed with a consoling directive for concerned passers-by, or maybe for the pet. The proprietor will be back soon. Relax. You positively would stress if the Zeekr X released one of its different elements in your area. The vehicle has outside speakers that can play a choice of uproarious creature commotions, pre-recorded verbal messages or motor sounds at passers-by, or broadcast music from the vehicle sound system. We're not yet acclimated, in that frame of mind, to drivers' advanced notice walkers of their methodology with parody horse commotions, yet that day is coming, assuming Zeekr has its direction. You could possibly make this little electric hatchback sound like there's a Massey Ferguson farm hauler motor under the hood, and take selfies with the inherent cameras. However, an errands more integral to the vehicle's fruitful use are interesting to get to. Enormous, noteworthy, and high goal, however, the touchscreen is. It has a great deal of intricate menus and isn't generally basically as responsive as we might want to contact inputs on the frequently little symbols. These things generally improve with commonality, yet better easy routes to key elements and split-screen usefulness that keeps the route data in view would be an advantage. There's consistently remote Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in the event that you're actually battling, and essentially the standard head-up show passes on data in an unmistakable and succinct way. It likewise projects a few decent energized illustrations provoking you to make the turns on the Sat-NAV course. While you are in the driver's seat, the Zeekr X feels more like smaller MPV than an SUV, with an upstanding driving position and loads of room above those BMW i3 correlations, feeling well suited once more. We tried the double engine variation, and can affirm you likely's thought process. That 422 brake horsepower is a considerable amount in a vehicle of this size, with no genuine redesigns beyond the powertrain to assist it with adapting. Indeed, even with a four-wheel drive framework that is speedy to send power advances, it's not difficult to break foothold at the back, assuming you're enthusiastic at the ways out of corners. All that presentation hiding under your right foot doesn't actually play to the Zeekr X's assets. At the point when you drive it rapidly, the delicate suspension gets disrupted over bigger knocks and undulations, creating a fun result. Drive in a more estimated manner, or stick to metropolitan roads and smooth motorways, as most proprietors will, and the Zeekr dazzles. The guiding isn't excessively light, and the vehicle answers to it. The tight 11.5 turning circle further aiding mobility. Little knock retention is great, and the impressive curb weight, 1,960 kilograms in the double-engine vehicle, is sensibly all-around controlled in corners, given the tall body. There's not an excess of wind or outside sound until you get up to motorway speeds. So, all in all, things truly do get stronger than we'd like. It's for the most part a loosening up vehicle to get about in. As you would have speculated from the strange contraptions recorded before, Zeekr seems to embrace somewhat of a store-clear way to deal with hardware, and essentially heaps in however much it can. The standard long-reach single-engine vehicles get an all-encompassing sunroof, 2-zone environment control, warm front and back situates, the Goliath touchscreen, a 13-speaker Yamaha sound system, and a setup of 19 driver help frameworks that ring in routinely to keep you in good shape. The double-engine Honor vehicles don't add much else past the redesigned powertrain. 20-inch Haggles front seats. You positively won't feel like you're passing up a major opportunity in the section-level rendition, something you can't actually say regarding the top-notch badge rivalry. In the Netherlands, right, currently valuing begins at €44,990 for the standard model, and just for €1,500 something else for the leader that we tried. How this will decipher when the Zeekr X raises a ruckus around town in 2025, or somewhere around there, is obscure. Yet £39,000 for a sharp, agreeable and very exceptional premium reduced SUV would pursue. It's comparative cash to that, as of now, being requested the related yet less roomy shrewd number one. Under £4,000 something else for express vehicle with all-wheel drive, 422 brake horsepower, and a 3.8 0 to 62 miles per hour run seems like a deal too great to even consider declining. However, on balance, you presumably ought to.